Nilesh Sharmaji from Gurugram.
Radhe Radhe Maharaji, I have practiced Hatha Yoga for 10 years and got many benefits like improvement in health and focused mind. I have been listening to your discourse for the past 1 year and chanting the name, and my bhakti is developing slowly. Based on my old practice, I feel that with Hatha Yoga, my mind could wander less and it can assist me in chanting. Can I include some Hatha Yoga in my devotional practice?
Take the shelter of the Lord and humility. Call out to the Lord. Chanting means calling out to the Lord to rise above the bodily platform. Have you risen above the body platform? Hatha Yoga means to control the thoughts and instincts of your mind and focus them on the Param Tattva, the ultimate reality. Whether you use Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Lay Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or Sannyas Yoga, by any path, the key thing is that you should give up the thoughts of the mind, of the world, and the body. But nowadays, for yoga, we don't have this kind of environment. We don't have our bodies. Can we sit in Padmasana lotus position for 6 hours? People have sat in the accomplished pose for 18 hours without eating and drinking. Can you sit in the accomplished pose for how long can you sit? So how will we be able to obtain this lay, this union? Now pranayam for us, Radha, 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 with every breath in, as many names as possible. Radha, 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 with every breath out, as many names as possible. By this way, we're leaving the thoughts of the world and we're meditating on the name. See, the mind cannot do anything without your permission. When you are with it, then it destroys you. Now, you don't have to be with the mind, but you have to make sure the mind is with you. So up until now, you have been doing whatever the mind said, but now the instructions that you have been given, you have to make sure that the mind functions according to those instructions. The one who can control the mind is a Mahatma, is a great person. Wherever you focus the mind, whichever point, the mind will focus on there. The mind will not be able to go anywhere else. Always focused. Practice the name, but with detachment. Don't do anything which is prohibited in the Shastras. Don't accept those sense objects. Those which are allowed to maintain the body, to follow your dharma, we accept those sense objects. And we focus our mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. Akhand, constant, and unobstructed. Tadarpita khalcharita tasmarain param vyakutain. Submit everything to the Lord as per the instructions of the Lord in the Shastras, and chant the name. Like if the name is stopped, then you should feel anxiety. And by this process, you'll be able to obtain any siddhi, power, or position that you want. Jahi na chahiye, kabu kachu, tum san sahaj sane, basu nirantar tasur sora. Your mind will just become peaceful on its own. It will be still internally and externally. You don't have to do hat. This connection that you establish with the love, prem, it doesn't happen by this hat. See, the animal doesn't know anything, but if you just give it some love, if you just call it lovingly, then even the dog will start wagging its tail. The animal doesn't know you, but just call it out lovingly, it will wag its tail and will come towards you. A little child, a baby, doesn't know anything. You call it out lovingly, it will start giggling. So this language of the love, you don't need the mind for it, you need your heart. So if your heart is focused on the beloved, there is no greater yoga than that. Uddhav ji came to Vrindavan to teach the gopis. And he thought that if I tell the gopis about the Brahm Roop, the Brahman form of the Lord, they will be affected. But when he saw the gopis, all his knowledge was washed away. Great devotees like Bhishma Pitama, Sukhdev Goswami, Uddhav were swept away by the devotee of the gopis. What is the key thing in them? That every instinct, every thought of theirs is at the lotus feet of Krishna. So whatever you do, chant the name of the Lord, take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. This is Kali Yuga, and in this age, this is the process that will benefit you the fastest. Now, we've walked on many paths. I'm telling you that doing 90 pranayams a day, doing Padmasana, Siddhasana, not even accepting any clothes, being the Gumber along the banks of the Ganga. I've tried all these things, but I've seen the fruit of everything is the love of the shelter, of the lotus feet, of Priya Pritam, of Radha Krishna. And my mind is completely peaceful. Like when somebody comes home, they feel peace. That's how the mind will feel. Vishram, peace. Tulsi Goswami Ji is saying,
जैसे गोस्वामी जी कह रहे ना, जाकी कृपा लवलेश ते मतिमंद तुलसी दास हो, पायो परम विश्राम, राम समान प्रभु नाही को.
we have attraction towards the sense objects. We think there is some happiness in them. We've given them up stubbornly, but how long will this tyag last? What will happen? Our heart is still burning and we've given up something, but with love, Brahmadik ke bhog tab sab vishtam lage like. Like even the sense objects in the Brahmalok appear to be like poison. And Narayan Baj Chandra ki lagan lagi jab jai. Like when you see the beauty of the Lord that can defeat millions of cupids in the three bending form, when your mind gets engaged in this form, then you say Brahmadik ke bhokta savishtam. Like even those sense objects of the heavenly planets appear to be like poison. For example, if you see vomit in front of you, would you ever want to eat it? So that's how devotees are. They're great, very fortunate, and they give up these sense objects like that because your mind is engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord, and all these sense objects appear to be them like vomit or poison. For now, we give up these things forcefully, but we still have a feeling that there is happiness in them. And then we cannot experience any of the spiritual bliss, but we have to give up this feeling. We should have no interest in them.
निज सुख बिन मन होए कि थीरा, यहाँ सुख नहीं मिलेगा ना.
So, if we do not get happiness here, the mind will run back to the sense objects. So, what we have to do is we have to experience the bliss here. And how will we obtain that? By taking shelter of the Lord and by the name. And then, what the yoga can accomplish? Krishna says,
तेषाम सतत युक्तानाम भजताम प्रीति पूर्वकम ददामि बुद्धि योगम तम येन मामुपयान्ति ते.
one who does my bhajan constantly, I give him buddhi yoga. When the Lord provides yoga, then that will be complete. You will become a Mahayogi. And the person will be singing glories of the Lord sometimes listening to his characters and pastimes, sometimes worshipping him. So you see, when your mind gets tired, then you can come back. If you feel your mind is saying that you should do this Hatha Yoga now, then you try it. But when you are tired, then you can come back here. If you have any strength here, then you try it.
अपबल तपबल और बाहुबल चौथो बल है दाम, शूर किशोर कृपाते सब बल हारे को हरिनाम. अब तो सुनेरी मैंने निर्बल.
Now, don't wander. Just take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and his name, and you will be able to obtain everything. If you don't feel that the Lord has showered his mercy on you and sent you here, no, just trust me that without the kripa of Hari and Radharani, you cannot come here, you cannot talk to us. I believe this firmly that anybody who has come here has been sent by my Ladli Jew, my Radha Jew. You've come to the Dham, and we are their slaves. You are talking to us because our Swami Jew, our Radharani, has sanctioned it. We haven't called you, they have called you. So now don't get fooled Just understand that Shriji Radharani is showing you the path. So now follow it. Don't use your own brain, your own mind here. I tell this to people that how you control your mind is Ra,
बड़ा की मात्रा
Dha. In your mind, write this Ra, Dha, and do this constantly. The ears are hearing, the eyes are seeing, and the mind is constantly writing Ra, Dha, Ra, Dha. When you have your eyes closed, you see Radha. When your eyes are open, you see Radha. Try it. It will be difficult to focus unless you're celibate. And if your heart is dirty, you will feel that I cannot do this now. But if you start to do it just 5 minutes a day, then you've thrown the trap that can capture your mind. Then you can increase over time to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So just focus your mind on one place. The words are Akshar Brahm, which means that they're representation of the Lord. For example, A is in every word. Ka, Ka, Ga. Every word you say, the A is in there. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahm. In the same way, in every word, the Lord is present. So the topmost vidya, topmost knowledge is Radha. So if you like it, you take to it. But for us, I've seen all of the paths and been tired. And then Ladli ji said, come here. First, I was in the sannyas path and I've seen many pastimes there, tried Ashtang Yoga, and then I had the kripa of Mahadev, Lord Shiva, and then later this path. So see, if you had not come to me, then I would not have told you this. So the Lord has inspired you to come here. He's arranged for us to meet. So now don't wander. From your heart, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Look at the four Kumaras. They're God realized, but from their tongue, they're chanting Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam. Learn from this that they're Brahm realized, they remain in the state of 5 years old, and they're always chanting Hari's name. So take the shelter of the Lord and chant His name. Do your duties as a worship to the Lord, and slowly the mind on its own will start to become still. Do not support it in any bad things that inspires you. It will encourage you to join it and go along with it. But if you agree to it, then that's it. Then you will not be able to stop it. It will make you fall down. But just at that moment when the mind is enticing you, you have to stop it. It will send you a lot of happiness. It will entice you to re-enjoy things you've enjoyed again before. So all the senses have their own sense objects, but you have to not go along with the mind. We fall down because we support the mind. Like the mind has a tendency to slide down, to fall down. You make a decision, you're not going to go with this, but again you fall down. And this keeps happening, like life after life, maybe past. The one who does not support the mind is clever, because without your support, the mind cannot function. It is all focused on you. If your intelligence is sharp, then you will not support the mind. But if your intelligence is not clear, then you'll belong with the mind, and then you'll just be engaged in sense gratification. Because of this, sinful activities are committed, and you see so many jails are filled with crimes because of this. This life is to obtain the Lord, to eliminate all unhappiness. Over and over again, we're dealing with the unhappiness of birth and death. And only in this human life can you obtain this path. Those who listen to the talks about the Lord are very fortunate, because you see, most people are just engaged in talks of Maya. But the ones who are intelligent, they realize that this life is short, and in this life I have to make it a success, because I have failed in all my previous lives, and they realize that our Param Dhan, our prime wealth, is Radharani. So these are my prayers, my requests, that whatever breaths we have left, we chant the name. What kind of plan you're gonna make to do yoga? Do you think you're gonna even live this evening? Who knows? So can you say that? Do you have a way that I can obtain Radha right away? Yes, I do. Just chant the name Radha, Radha, Radha. As many breaths we have, we chant the Radha name. And if that is your last breath, you'll obtain her. So whenever your mind drags you down to anything which is impious or sinful, your chanting will stop. This is based on experience. When the mind makes us fall down, then its advice is so perfect that you're not able to object to it. For small, small things, take the issue of the tongue. You want to have like hot, hot samosas along with like green chutney, and it's making all these things in the mind. Which shop should I get this from? This is your meditation. And then you took it, you ate it, and then it still won't be satisfied. Then it will ask you to do something else, maybe something a lower, more degraded action. So we feel that whatever we desire, if we obtain that, we'll be satisfied. But actually, that does not happen. Just check inside. You have a job, you have a house. Are you happy? Are you content that whatever I desired, the Lord has provided? No, people are not satisfied. In a household, the Lord has given all those comforts which the mind desires. But still, whether you're a woman or a man, you're doing more sinful activities, even though you have these things. See, the mind is making you do these things which you should never do. But now you should see that, no, I have to now check on the mind. And you can only do that if you have support. And the support is the Satsang, the association of saints, and the chanting of the name. And then only then can our intelligence be purified. See how the mind is trapping us in this thing, in that thing, not in this, not in that. The whole life is getting passed. We're so degraded that even we're doing sinful activities just on the advice of the mind. But it is so tricky that up until now, it has just been agonizing us. No, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. It's a great enemy, and you have to be very careful. The one who is alert of the tricks of the mind can be victorious. Otherwise, a mind can drag you down very lovingly. It will try and become your friend and show you that, look, I will make you happy. And you do that. But when you are caught by doing some sinful activities and you're beaten by the police, then you realize that, look, yes, internally I had heard that I should not do this, but I had forgotten this. The Lord had advised you from inside, very softly, don't do this. This will cause you harm. But it's a soft voice. Like the Gurudev is sitting in everybody's heart. The Lord is sitting in everybody's heart. So to control your mind is bhajan. What does that mean? To kill the mind is bhajan. What does that mean? You should not go along with what the mind is saying, but you should follow the instructions of the Guru and the Shastra. So sit in quiet and chant the name.
कबीरा हंसना छोड़ दे, रोने से कर प्रीत, बिन रोए किन पाइयां, प्रेम प्यारा मीत.
Oh Lord, please support me now. Now I have no strength. I've tried everything and I've been defeated. Oh my Lord, Radha, Radha, Radha. Do you understand?